What is going on, my broskis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we finally have the boosted list for the brand new treasure map against Sakazuki and Isho. So of course, we're going to be bringing you guys the preparation video, which will include a breakdown of the brand new treasure map character that we're all going to be farming for, as well as breaking down each of the battle rush bosses, including the final boss against Sakazuki and Isho. Now, this is actually one of those treasure maps where they didn't have an intrusion battle on the JP side of the game. Bringing it into global though, they did introduce now a brand new intrusion battle that will be global exclusive. Of course, we don't have details about that, but we do know that the global exclusive intrusion battles are typically a lot easier than the rest of the bosses. So I won't be covering that in this video because we literally have no information about it. But everything aside from that, we'll be able to discuss in this video today. So hopefully you guys do go on to enjoy this video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the brand new treasure map against Akainu and Fujitora. Alright, so getting into breaking down the brand new dual character, Sakazuki and Isho, each single version of these characters, whether it be the Akainu side or the Fujitora side, all versions, including their dual form, are striker and driven, which I think is kind of odd because typically Akainu and Fujitora characters are like not striker characters, so it is very absurd. But those are the classes of the character. Obviously with his stats, pretty decent stats overall for a treasure map character with 60 cost and 5 socket spots. I'm not going to go through their singular captain abilities, we'll just go through their dual captain and their special ability. So when they are their fully combined form, you get a strength, dex, and int 3.75 times attack, and strength and int will be beneficial as well to those three types, which is really good to have. And as their dual form, they'll also cut the HP of all enemies by 10% at the end of each turn. So for a free-to-play captain, it is actually pretty good. His special ability though goes down to 16 turns after max limit break, and it will go ahead and state that it will defeat all enemies with HP less than 120 times this character's attack. So if we take 1730 and you add 200 for cotton candy, so 1930, just going to do this on the fly here, and times that by 120. So any enemy that has less than 231,000 HP will be defeated when you use this special ability. Of course, if you have sailor abilities that boost this character's stats, that will also increase the threshold of defeating enemies, which is good. Also on top of that, he'll go ahead and shuffle all of your orbs into either strength or int, so when you use their special and they are the captain, you basically have a full board of matching slots, and will also cut all enemies HP by 20%, and you get the dual unit effect for 2 turns. So unfortunately, it's not 3 turns. 3 turns obviously is the most optimal, but 2 turns, you can still get some pretty good usage out of that for sure. This character does have a switch ability, of course, like all other dual units. His switch ability will boost slot effects of strength, dex, and int characters by 1.5 times for 1 turn, and will also cut the HP of all enemies by 7% at the end of the turn. So you get 2 very powerful effects there. A 1.5 orb boost to 3 separate colors upon switch is freaking amazing. So good to have. And the fact that you get the health cut at the end of the turn is really nice because you can use that to avoid enemy resilience buffs. This will go through the resilience to KO an enemy, so that's a really nice usage that you can get with his swap effect. So the first of these battle rush bosses is against Doberman. Doberman is an int unit and he has 500,000 HP. His preemptive attack will have a 3-turn 16-hit combo barrier. And I'm not really 100% sure on this one, but I have seen that he does change all of your crew slots into tandem. I'm not 100% sure if he changes them to tandem all the time, or it's upon one of the following effects, because you can see just below the preemptive that I've listed there, one of the following things will happen. Either one unit in your top row or bottom row will be binded for 11 turns, or he'll go ahead and bind 3 units from your top and bottom row collectively for 7 turns. So this is where the new rare recruit Bonnie is going to be really good because she removes 3 characters bind by 7 turns. But remember, that's not really going to help too much if one unit is binded for 11 turns. So having multiple types of units that can remove bind is going to be pretty useful in this fight. Also, after the first turn of attacks, he'll give himself 10 turns of Enrage, which will also double his attack value. And below 50%, he will bind 2 units for 5 turns. So essentially, you want to kill him as soon as possible. And as the picture would suggest, V2 Boa Hancock would be a really ideal captain to bring here, as the special ability does lots of combo damage to break his barrier. And you can run, obviously, the new rare recruit Bonnie as a free spirit unit on that team. But the team that I'm suggesting here that is a free-to-play team utilizes Smoothie and Oven captains with some Psy, Quick, and Int characters as sub-units. Now, the really cool thing is that Ambush Linlin will remove 6 turns of bind. So with sockets, you're going to remove all turns turns of bind if you get the lesser bind on more units. However, in the situation where one unit is binded for 11 turns, that is going to be quite a pain. So having Raid Blackbeard on this team with the support character of Rare Recruit Lafitte, of course, not a lot of people will have that or even have the character at max support, but if you do, I would highly suggest bringing that character on this team. Alternatively, you can bring a character that's not boosted on a Smoothie and Oven team, such as I think Colosseum Rayleigh removes bind, who is boosted, so that is another unit you can bring. Or if you have the brand new Rare Recruit Bonnie from the latest batch, you can bring that for the team as well. But essentially, as long as you have a unit that can remove your bind, you're not really going to be having too many issues against Doberman. Moving on now to the next boss, which is going to be Rare Recruit Kobe. Kobe is a strength unit with 550,000 HP. His preemptive attack will apply a 98 turn HP barrier. Now the HP is very small, it's only 12,000 HP barrier, so like breaking the barrier is not a problem. It's basically there so you just are not able to use other type of effects against him. But he also will blind you or remove SFX debuff for 19 turns. So having a sailor ability to remove that will help you out a lot, but there aren't too many characters that can remove that many turns of remove SFX. So typically in this particular boss, you will have to, you know, maintain that blind status, which is pretty annoying. He'll also go ahead and special rewind your left column characters for 2 turns, and will also give you a full board of block slots. If Kobe is still alive after turn 2, he applies 3 turns of damage threshold to himself, so of course you definitely want to take him down before that second turn. So the team I am suggesting is a double treasure map Gear 4 team, as you can use both of their special abilities to deal a lot of damage towards Kobe. At that point there as well, you can also go ahead and use Raid Cracker to guarantee you a full board of matching slots. And then also treasure map Kizaru, even though he's not a 1.2 times booster, he is a 1.1 times point booster, but he will go ahead and boost all of your quick characters attack because your captain is quick, of course, by 1.75. He also will health cut by 20%, Raid Cracker health cuts by 20%, and with the Gear 4 specials, you will 100% be able to break through his barrier, no problem. So with that alone, you're going to be dealing a lot of just natural damage just by activating specials. And then if you have your other quick characters on the right hand side, which get their specials rewinded, as long as they are boosted by Gear 4, you're not really going to have too many problems here. Of course, you are blinded, which means hitting perfects will be a problem, but with the amount of damage that you'll be dealing and with all of the boosts active, even if you do struggle to hit a couple of perfects, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage with this team against Kobe. The next Battle Rush boss is against Suru. Suru does have some characters in the back as well. Each of them have a certain barrier. As you can see, a good, a great, I believe the other one does have a perfect barrier. So you have those characters to deal with as well. Suru herself though, she doesn't have a lot of HP, only 380,000. Her preemptive will apply a delay immunity, so obviously you can't delay them, but you can still reduce their defense, you can still poison them, you can still apply a lot of debuffs to them, and you also get applied with 3 turns of paralysis. On turn 2, she will go ahead and remove your beneficial effects and apply more paralysis, and do not apply an attack boost on this stage, as she'll remove your beneficial effects and give you attack down for 1 turn. So as long as you're not bringing an attack booster, you're going to be fine. And because of the paralysis, there is one character in particular that's going to make your life a whole lot easier, and that is going to be 6+ Nami, as she provides an orb boost and a color affinity boost, and she is a very powerful Dex captain. So by utilizing Dex Nami, you are not going to have any issues with this fight, and she also removes the paralysis with her special. So it's just ridiculously easy with Nami. If you have Nami yourself, run that as the captain for this fight. It's going to be super duper easy. If you don't have Nami, I would strongly suggest having a friend captain Nami, or you would have to utilize some other characters on your crew that can remove the paralysis. But either way, Nami will make your life a whole lot easier, considering how long Nami has been out and how really usable she is for this particular treasure map. I do think that finding Nami friend captains will be quite easy, honestly. So the last of these Battle Rush bosses is Garp, and I do think that Garp will be the most difficult for most players out there, especially if you don't have the units applicable for taking him down easily. I would suggest to clear him in the mid-map, as it will be a lot easier. So Garp has the highest HP pool of any of these Battle Rush bosses, with 620,000 at Navigation level 1. His preemptive applies 10 turns of special limit, so you can only use 2 specials per turn, and here comes the problem, the fact that you have to bring a damage threshold remover up to 5 turns of damage threshold removal, and you need to bring a unit that can remove Despair by 3 turns at least. And that is really the big problem, is the fact that you have to run all of these certain things, and by the time you remove the negative effects, you've used up all of your specials. So this is where Shirahoshi Mancherry is a very ideal character, of course. Below 20% HP, he'll apply 9 turns of Special Bind and increased damage taken, and when you kill Garp, he does 0.75 times his attack as damage to your team. So at navigation level 1, he has 4500 attack, and he gains 225 attack per nav level. So of course, you can come back to this video, and if you are really worried about taking like too much damage, you can calculate how much damage he'll deal to your team, and of course, damage reducing effects will reduce that by quite a lot. But if you have Shirahoshi Mancherry with their captain ability as a dual form, they can resist all of that damage. Also, another character that can be quite good is Colosseum Jinbei, as Colosseum Jinbei will get rid of the threshold and applies threshold to your own team, so that you can just basically tank any death hit damage. Now, in terms of the team that I'm suggesting to you guys, this is a full free play team utilizing a Shirahoshi Mancherry friend captain. The main reason, of course, we've already talked about it, is the special limit. Now, if you cannot find a Shirahoshi Mancherry friend captain, then I would definitely suggest to try and generate some matching orbs before moving into this final boss fight against Garp. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier with some beneficial slots. Another thing that you could do as well is run the support abilities like the Vivi or like the new Margaret that we just got. Either of those characters would be a really good idea as well. But you've got the Robin character from the Fortnite to remove the Despair. You have the Raid Zoro to not only apply an affinity boost to your driven characters, which unfortunately there's not really too many, but you know, you can go ahead and do that. If you have the dual unit of Fujitora and Akainu already, you can chuck them on the team, as the dual unit, when it's in the Fujitora form, will be boosted by the captain of Magellan and Hannibal, and also are a driven character, so they will be boosted. And also the fact that their switch ability will apply an orb boost, so you can do some pretty cool things with that. So you know, if you have the dual unit of Akainu and Fuji, I'd suggest running that, of course. But again, if you do have the Shirahoshi Mancherry friend captain, you can use their special ability to remove the special limit, and then you can just spam all your specials, and you can basically win from there quite easily, of course. So now we can go ahead and move on to the final boss fight, which is against Akainu and Fujitora. Now, on stage 5, you will actually encounter one mini-boss. On stage 6, you have a secondary mini-boss. So stage 5 is Akainu, who is a Dex unit, 320,000 HP, so he's very, very weak. So you don't really have to worry about him getting too high HP too quickly. But his preemptive attack applies a full immunity buff. He also will lower your chain coefficient for 4 turns and will give you a full board of Dex slots. Now, on the very first turn after the attack and every single turn afterwards, he will go ahead and make Dex slots badly matching for 1 turn and give you a full board of Dex slots. So you definitely want to kill him in that first turn of attacks. Obviously, the brand new Treasure Map Rare Recruit Doflamingo would be great here, as he treats Dex as beneficial for your team. Vivi Rebecca is also quite good here, as their switch ability does change Dex slots into beneficial, I believe, or into matching slots for your Striker and Cerebral characters. So that's really useful to have. So now moving on to stage 6 is going to be Fujitora. Fujitora also has 320,000 HP, so again, very, very easy in terms of his HP. Like, you don't have to worry about it being too large too quickly. His preamp will go ahead and give himself also an immunity buff, so you can't reduce his defense delay or anything like that. He'll also give you 4 turns of attack down, and that's a 50% attack down, so it's not too crazy, but it's still really annoying to have that attack down inflicted to your team. He also applies 3 turns of damage threshold to himself, and he gives your crew a full board of either Psy or Int slots, and you definitely want to KO him on that first turn, because if you don't, Dex, Quick, and Psy characters on your team will be inflicted with 10 turns of Special Bind. And then moving on to the final boss, which of course is the dual form Akainu and Fujitora. They have 1.1 million HP, and their preemptive attack will apply a delay immunity, so you can poison and you can reduce their defense on the final boss fight. Also, they'll go ahead and apply 11 turns of a Rainbow Shield % damage reduction, which will reduce all damage that they take by 30%, which is very annoying, of course. Now, they'll also apply an 11-turn 2-hit Perfect Barrier. Again, just all of these really annoying defensive abilities. Below 50%, they'll go ahead and apply 10 turns of an end-of-turn damage, which will ultimately deal 15% HP cut every turn. Also below 50%, they will burn you for 10 turns, and they'll also cut your HP in half. So they just really want to try and wheel you down after they're 50% or lower, and under 20% or lower, they will deal basically 1 million damage to your team, and you're going to die. So don't get them below 20%, and definitely don't get them below 50%. It's going to make your life a whole lot more difficult against this boss. So in terms of the free-to-play team that I have suggested to you guys in this video today, this is utilizing a full Cerebral team. So we have the CP0 Lucci captain, who will be a 3.5 captain to your Cerebral characters with a matching slot, 2.5 otherwise. The Neptune is really useful on stage 6 to remove the attack down, as well as giving your Cerebral characters a 1.75 orb boost for 3 turns, so you can carry that through into stage 7 when using it on stage 6. Colosseum Jinbei also very good for stage 6 to remove the damage threshold that is applied on the enemy Fujitora, so you definitely want to remove that, and Colosseum Jinbei is great for that. Then we've got Dofi and Treble dual unit, which is another really good unit. He is a strength character, which is going to give you more damage output on the final boss stage, and you can use them on stage 6 to carry a 3.25 times chain lock into stage 7, which is very nice to have. And then you have the brand new Neo Raid Heracles, who is also a really nice unit for this team, as he provides a 1.75 times attack boost to your Cerebral characters. And of course, the most important component of this team is the friend captain Vivi and Rebecca. Now, the reason why this is very useful is because their special ability removes all turns of Blue and Rainbow Shield. And of course, on stage 7, they do have an 11-turn Rainbow Shield, so using their special ability to remove that, as well as giving your Striker and Cerebral characters a 2 times color affinity boost. So yeah, you definitely want to be running them. Also, it just really helps on stage 5. The stage 5 mini-boss against Akainu, where your chain coefficient is reduced. You can use their switch ability to guarantee you a chain lock, and then you can deal lots of damage towards the Akainu boss there. So definitely helps out a lot. But in terms of how this team runs, of course, we've basically talked about it. But Rebecca's switch ability, switch into Rebecca on stage 5. Then you've got Neptune, Jinbei, and the Treble special. So make sure you set to Treble, because then you can switch into Dofi on the final boss fight. And you can use those specials on stage 6 to KO. And then you've got Heracles special, Rebecca special, and then switch into Dofi. And as long as you hit those certain perfects on the stage 6, then you can carry the 3.25 chain lock from the Dofi Treble into stage 7. And just all in all, like, this is a pretty good amount of damage, and obviously with the Intrusion Battle stat boost as well, this will last for a very, very long time in this upcoming treasure map against Akainu and Fujitora. So now wrapping up this video today, let's have the full breakdown here of all the free-to-play teams once again. So against Doberman, the main component there is the fact that you get binded for so many turns. Ambush Linlin and the new quick rare recruit Bonnie are going to be exceptional characters for removing all of that bind. So I would suggest, if you have that new Bonnie, to put that on your team. If not, then Ambush Linlin will also help you out a lot as well. Now against Kirby, basically just run a lot of damage dealing specials, and having type advantage will obviously help you out there, which is why we have the Gear 4 captains. We've got the Cracker, we've got the Kizaru. Both of those characters give health cuts. I mean, Kizaru gives you a type boost. You got Cracker for a full board of guaranteed slots. But I mean, another way that you could get around it as well is running like V2 Katakuri as a captain, and then you could just, you know, take a bunch of hits and then literally just spam specials on the final boss fight. That is also a pretty good way around it as well. Then you've got the Suru fight. Basically just bring 6+ Nami. That's going to wipe the floor with the Suru boss. And then against Garb, the Mancheri and Shirahoshi will be your best bet for this fight, as well as bringing a character that can remove Despair and damage threshold. So as long as you have those components, the Garb fight is actually pretty easy. And the Akainu and Fujitora, we've already broken down this team extensively in this video. If you guys want a full breakdown of it once again, make sure to just rewind it and just listen to how the team actually works, because it's actually pretty straightforward once you know what all the characters do, of course. But that is going to wrap up this video today, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.